bridge kami. So we have to find a way to talk to yung ibang claimants in a very firm manner, but still in a diplomatic manner. Kasi naghahanap tayo ng solusyon. So let me assure you, wala nang problema dun sa area na yon. Kung nagka-problema man, it was resolved diplomatically, but it is not true that there was a attempt, no, na i-invade or agawin. And hindi papayag ang ASEAN na hindi masunod yung DOC. That's why may confidence ngayon na ipasa yung COC. No? So I think there is a consensus among ASEAN countries and China and regional players, di ba, na status quo muna tayo. Now, ang hindi lang sakop ng status quo, yung hawak na nga, di ba, the features that is already held by Vietnam, Malaysia, Philippines, China, they continue and we all continue to make improvements. The President also stated this. So question, bakit prinoprotesta? Yun ang diplomatic actions eh. So everyone is protesting everyone to put their claims on record. But that doesn't mean, so for example, kaming tatlo ng Vietnam at Malaysia, ang ganda ng discussions namin. At we're getting pretty close, not only on the personal level, but also in defending our country's claims and sovereignty, but also in the spirit of regional community. No? So expect there to continue to be issues sa West Philippine Sea, South China Sea. Expect nyo na may ups and downs. No? But we will continue to inform you as we think is best affecting the negotiations.
Sir, sabi niyo may mga wrong facts yung mga ilang kritiko, pero hindi po pa po namin narinig sa DFA yung mga facts talaga na meron yung gobyerno na mako-confirm po natin. So, what are the facts? How many ships were there? What were they doing? How long, etc.
Okay. As I said, no, we will tell you that we are taking the diplomatic actions. But if we tell you every step of the way and all the facts, etc., it will not help. Unless there is something that happened, di ba, that the public has to know or that will not affect the negotiations. So ang sinasabi ko, it's wrong dahil sinabi may invasion. Paano magkakaroon ng invasion kung wala namang umagaw o tatayo dun sa sandbar na yon? What's the proof? What's the facts? Kumuha kayo ng bangka. Pwede naman kayo lumapit dun eh. Di ba? Tapos look at it.
What are the facts that answer can only come from you?
Let me apologize, and I hope you not only listen but you also hear what I'm saying. We cannot go into all the facts or some of the facts at times because it will harm our job. My job is to protect the Philippine claim and the Philippine public. Di ba? So hindi natin strategy ngayon na lahat ng problema. Di ba? So halimbawa, nag-aaway kayong mag-asawa. Dati ang strategy nyo sa media, I'm not referring to anyone, sa media kayo nag-uupakan. You're trying to resolve it. May marriage counselor na kayo. Di ba? Dati, ikaw naghahanap ng reporter kasi sa public ang strategy mo na ipitin o i-divulge yung sa asawa mo. Now you're trying to settle it for the family. Do you go to the media every time, or if the media goes to you and tells you, ano sabi ng asawa mo ngayon? O pinuntahan ka ba sa bahay? Inano ka ba? O etc. Of course, you'll keep quiet about it because it will harm the negotiations. No? But of course, for example, if we may danger or hindi nagwo-work yung strategy, no? Meaning halimbawa, hindi nasunod yung DOC, biglang may nag-inhabit ng uninhabited or may nagbi-build, then we will tell you honestly, eto facts, eto nangyayari, hindi nagwo-work ang strategy. As I told you, when President Duterte came in, magtatayo sana sa isang bagong lugar, no, ang China. But because of the good relations, because of the mechanism, no, we agreed, di ba? Let's de-escalate. And nakikinabang yung buong region at yung ASEAN. So again, apologies. I know it's your job to ask for the facts. But it's my job naman to keep the negotiations going and not to hamper it.
Sir, can you explain what do you mean by it's been resolved? Or are the ships still there? Or
No.
did you give them permission to stay there?
First of all, that's another way of getting the facts. But let me put it na lang this way. No? The mere presence per se, although we were informed and of course we needed to talk about it, the mere presence of Chinese ships, as I said, under UNCLOS, doesn't mean anything.
Regardless where, sir.
Regardless where, basta ano siya, freedom of navigation. Di ba?
Kahit
Basta
military,
freedom of navigation.
regardless of what vessel, sir?
Yes,
Kahit
in fact, they
military?
have complete state immunity under the UNCLOS. I'll give you the relevant provisions. That's why nga, the US, with its allies, nagpipilit na to do their freedom of navigation run there. No? Siguro yung confusion kasi ganito. Those who are claimants say that there's no freedom of navigation, there's no right of innocent passage within the, freedom of navigation sa high seas yan eh. Ang innocent passage, di ba, yun ang question sa loob ng 12 nautical miles. Sovereignty rights. And under UNCLOS, may freedom of navigation ka. So the mere fact na meron doon, di ba, does not mean kaagad na may violation. Having said that, hindi naman kami pwedeng natutulog sa pansitan na may nakita ka na, di ba, hindi ka magre-react, hindi ka tatawag, etc. So what I meant that it's been resolved, and what I meant by saying mali yung facts, kasi ang ginamit na word invasion. We would tell you directly that it was an invasion but it was resolved. If that was the case, it was not. No, there were some points to clarify on both sides, and after the clarification, nothing happened. But all this time, even nung papunta yung ibang ships o hindi, etc., nag-uusap. And I don't do this alone. The NSA and the DND and the AFP, their input is most valuable to us. But ang trabaho ng DFA to balance everything.
Can you at least confirm, sir, if they are still in Sandy Cay?
No, in the day I gave the briefing, yung unang day na tinanong niyo ako, isang ship lang, the next day wala na. But again, no, let me verify the specifics. Kasi yun yung sinasabi ko, di ba? Like I was explaining to you guys about how the draft is made. And then the headlines the next day is CSIS says may reclamation, Cayetano says wala. Diba? That's the problem with talking about facts. In the DFA, facts are our instrument to come out with policies and to have the concepts of how to resolve certain issues or to meet certain goals. Diba? Now, the facts, you have to verify. So, halimbawa, yung pictures, may date yon. Sa date ba na yun na talagang kinuha? Yung pictures ba ang pinakita lahat o konti lang? Diba? So, katulad din yun naman, diba? May initial finding kayo pag may CCTV. Diba? Pero, inaalam nyo pa rin ano yung buong pangyayari. Kasi baka naman pinutol yung CCTV sa isang part na hindi mo naman nakita yung ibang part na yon. So, ang hinihingi ko lang naman sa mga patriots, you know, I think good naman ang intentions. I told this to Congressman Gary Alejano. There's no question naman sa akin na mahal nyo bayan, na you're doing this ganito, but iba nga yung strategy ngayon. So ang pakiusap ko lang, you know, we told them, you're always welcome sa DFA, you can write us a letter, you can call us, may secure room doon kung kailangan nyo ng briefing, no? But, you know, you don't alarm the public, and then wala palang nangyayari, diba? So masama talaga kung may sunog, tapos tinago mo sa tao. Pero walang sunog, sumigaw ka ng sunog, kawawa naman ang publiko. Diba? Now, if they're just saying may smoke, no one denied that may smoke. Diba? Kung fog machine yun at hindi sunog. Diba? So, that's what we're saying. Diba? That there, unlike a situation sa movie house na may smoke, talagang palabasin mo lahat ng tao to be safe. Diba? In our situation, you have all the diplomatic tools, all the communication tools to call and talk to your counterpart or summon the ambassador, no, to find out what's happening. No, and kung hindi ganito kaganda relationship natin with our neighbors, no, the situation in the West Philippine Sea will be much, much worse.
Sir, can you at least tell us what the ships were doing there?
I really can't tell you details, no. And remember, these are reports. Even if I tell you, sabihin naman ng iba, hindi ganyan, di ba? Kasi of course, we also find out. But of course, yung bawat agency, iba yung assessment. Di ba? Not this incident, another incident, halimbawa, no. Some will say it's innocent passage. Diba? Some will say may research na ginagawa. Some will say may spying. Some will say they'll try to ano. So we gather all the facts. Tapos we deal with it. No? But to give you a factual answer, na anong ginagawa talaga doon, di ba? Aside from interagency yan, ang question nga, ano ba objective natin? So, when I was still a senator, objective natin mag-expose para may gawin ng gobyerno about it. But once I was assured na the government is doing something about it, di ba? I let the government handle it until we think that it's not being handled properly. So I'm open to debate if they think that we're not handling the situation properly, di ba? But as to the facts, etc., and for them to get us to go back to the Aquino strategy, no, that's not the direction of the Duterte administration. And because it's bearing fruit, not only with our relationship with China, it's bearing fruit with our relationship with our old and traditional allies, and it's bearing fruit with the region. Remember, despite the calming down, ang number one security threat pa rin yung Korean Peninsula. So, sa katayuan natin sa Pilipinas na tayo ang chair ng ASEAN, tayo ang chief diplomat, tayo ang taga-bate, tayo build ng bridges. Kung may gulo din dito sa West Philippine Sea, 'di ba? Paano tayo makakatulong na i-resolve yung Korean Peninsula and other intra-regional issues that we have to take care of. If you look at economics, for example, ASEAN is gaining tremendously with their traditional partners, with EU, US, China, Japan. But among the ASEAN states, yung trade and foreign direct investment, mababa. So that's something we want to work on. And we can't work on that kung nangaaway tayo parate. And as I told you kanina, hindi tayo pwedeng hindi consistent. This is not everyone versus China kasi multiple claimants to. There are features that we claim that is also being claimed by Malaysia and Vietnam. Diba? So that's why I asked the critics. Diba? Bakit China din lang ang nakikita nyo? Hindi ba patriotic pagka yung iba? But kami, consistent kami. We extend our hand of friendship and we ask for dialogue and we're talking to everyone. And I'm happy to report to you na it's not only with China that we have very good relations, it's with Malaysia and Vietnam. And in the areas na may piracy halimbawa, not only have we launched a lot of things with the help of Prime Minister Razak and President Widodo, and with President Duterte, but may economic venture na rin, di ba, yung RORO, from here to certain ports, no? And we hope to expand that para dumami din yung trade sa Malaysia, sa Indonesia, and then mas maging safe yung area. So in fact, we're talking to some of our other allies and friends outside the region to do patrols in the certain areas, no, not in the West Philippine Sea, sa kabilang side, no, going outside our boundaries, outside Mindanao, to keep these ships safe. And remember, no, more than half of seamen all around the world are Filipinos. So napakalaki ang stake natin sa maritime safety at saka anti-piracy.
Sir, sinasabi niyo yung CSIS na hindi na lang right to innocent passage yung in-exercise ng Chinese ships, kundi may at least dalawang nangingisda rin, at sabi rin ni Justice Carpio, mga ilang araw na silang nandun, so it could not be innocent passage only or freedom of navigation. How would you respond to that?
First, there's a difference between innocent passage and freedom of navigation. Okay. Number two, as to fishermen, ano ba nakalagay yun ang sinasabi ko, hindi tayo pwedeng inconsistent. Sa arbitration award, in certain areas, di ba, nakita doon na ni-recognize na traditional fishing ground, hindi lang ng Pilipinas. Vietnamese, Chinese, etc. Certain areas, dahil iba-iba yung decision sa iba-ibang lugar. Number two, pagdating sa fisheries at saka sa carbon deposits, no, hydrocarbon sa ilalim, no one owns that until hinarvest mo. Kaya tayo nag-uusap ngayon. And then lastly, remember, we're dealing with artisan fisheries or fishermen. Kapag commercial, itataboy talaga kasi masisira yung ecological balance. So, again, what do I say about CSIS? It's a good think tank. Its transparency project does a lot to help But let's not forget that it's also an American think tank na American interest. Di ba? So, the US has a strategy for Asia. China has a strategy for Asia. Japan has a strategy for Asia. We don't want to follow any of their strategies. We want to have a Philippine strategy for Asia. So the CSIS did not tell us anything we did not already know. Di ba? But they're making conclusions without complete facts. Di ba? So yun ang ano namin sa kanila. Continue what you're doing and we will answer you. But ang hiningi namin sa inyo sa Philippine media, di ba? Itignan nyo rin sa sinasubmit nila. At tignan nyo rin yung pinanggagalingan nila. Do you think the CSIS or any American think tank will come out with findings or with statements or press release, etc., that are against American interests? Diba? Ang purpose nila is American interest. That's why when I was still a senator, I 100% supported, I continue to support, despite the difference of strategy, yung efforts ni Justice Carpio na magkaroon ng think tanks ang Pilipinas, especially in maritime security and the West Philippine Sea, because diyan may institutional memory. May taga-push ng Philippine interest. Iba lang ang strategy namin ngayon. So message ko sa CSIS, we're dealing with it. We're dealing with it, but from the point of view of Philippine interest. When our interest coincides with America, then you will have us there. When our interests diverge, we will follow Philippine interests. But let's make no doubt, there is no identical interest with the Chinese, with the Japanese, with the Australians, with the US, with the EU. There are common values and there are interests that intersect. Pero hindi ibig sabihin pareho. Diba? Hindi ito parang sabihin nyo, hindi, isang pamilya lang tayo. Yung interest ng pamilya, when you talk about interest ng pamilya, dalawa lang yan. Philippine at ASEAN. Kasi we're trying to have one identity sa ASEAN. No? But the outside players have their own agenda. We won't be blind to it, but we also won't be running about it. Diba?
Okay.
Thank you guys. Thank you.